Hey everybody, Judy Seeker here. Just getting on to the live. Welcome, welcome. This is the first live I'm doing here on YouTube. I have been on TikTok this whole last few years and now switching over due to all the craziness that's going on there. So it's a learning curve for me, and hopefully you'll be patient. But I want to share my 30 years as a naturopath and now 67 years old for women who are into healthy aging. So, super, super excited to have you guys on there. I know that a lot of my TikTok fans will be coming over here soon. So, that's awesome. And those of you who are my subscribers, awesome to have you. And anybody else that's new, it's very cool. Um, so, this is a coffee chat time. This is where I'm going to do this for a week, maybe two, where in the morning we get together and we have our coffee. Although I get up at 5, and so I've already had my coffee and whatnot, and I only have one a day. And so this morning I decided I'm going to just have my water with my apple cider vinegar. We could talk about all that kind of stuff. I'm just wanting to share what I know works for women, because what you might not know is that the studies that have been done, the research, the science, let's get into it right away. I'm doing this for me as well as for you. So I just, it kind of blows my mind. I follow a lot of researchers. I've been as a naturopath 30 years, and I had two holistic clinics, and then I went into online work and doing summits and conferences and stuff online as well. And I couldn't believe, and I just learned this actually recently, which is why we're having our coffee chat, to share what's going on out there, that the research has been done for our health on men. Now, listen, I love the guys just as much as the next person, but when there's no research being done on women specifically, how are they helping us with our hormones? How do they help us with brain fog? What about perimenopause and the menopause issues? They can't. So it's always interesting to me when these guys get on, like Dr. Peter Attila, Dr. Mark Hyman, Andrew Huberman. I'm calling all the boys out. Nothing against them personally, but it's like, come on, boys. You've never had a cramp in your life. What do you know about hormones? So here's why I'm doing this. It's just very few of us that are on here as older women holistic therapists, experts, specialists, all that kind of stuff. And so I was on TikTok a lot, but they have absolutely controlled everything. They've shadow banned me, and just a lot of us are complaining. And it's a fun app, and love you. Thank you for that season in my life. And now I'm getting more into this kind of stuff where I could really talk to you guys and those of you who are interested. So I just realized, I said, you know what? I am not going to sit by the wayside. I have a lot of experience of what actually works and doesn't work. Plus, of course, I follow the experts, the young sprouts, as I call them. They're in their 40s and 50s. Dr. Rhonda Patrick, Dr. Stacy Sims, Dr. Gabriel Lyons, Dr. Anna Kabecka. I have a long list of women that I only follow. That's not true. I follow the men too, but I actually listen and implement what the women say because they have done the study and the research for women. So to me, that's super important, right? So here's the thing is, when you are looking at what is best for you as you're a woman in your 50s, 60s, 70s, and you're looking to age healthy, you got to follow the people who have been in the trenches doing the study and research, both clinically and scientifically, for women. That's the way that goes. Now, here's what's so interesting. Right now, so I watch the news and the latest things with the podcast, like I say with the boys, and Stephen Bartlett is on the chopping block. I'm surprised, I'm not surprised. So I like watching him and Rich Roll and a bunch of them, just to kind of see, where, who they're interviewing. And he's one of the few that does a lot of interviews with women, which I really appreciate because he's getting our perspective, which is wonderful. And these are really stellar experts. It's not like they just wrote a book and that was it. Like, no, they have been in the trenches 20, 30 years like me, have done the clinical work, the research, randomized studies, like a lot. And yet, it was on the BBC News that they put him on the chopping block. Why? Oh, because he was a businessman and he calls himself the diary of a CEO, which, with the business. But now 18 months and he's all focused on health and there's misinformation that he's spreading. So, of course, I went on that news and watched what they were coming after him. And I'm like, oh my goodness, here's the issue. Just so you know, cancer is a multi-trillion-dollar industry around the globe. And when you take that away and start offering other options, they get very nervous and they immediately shut it down. How do I know this? Is because I worked in the holistic cancer healing circle for 20 years and I did the detox part. So I was known as the detox queen for people on their cancer healing journey who had already done chemo and radiation. You, of course, cannot do a true detox when you're still on their program, which is fine. But you need to then detox to make sure the cancer doesn't come back. And that was my claim to fame. Did many webinars and speaking and summits and all that to teach that. But then a few years ago, I just like, okay, they're coming after everybody. I don't like to be looking over my shoulder, worried about what's coming up. So I was like, yeah, no, I'm done. So here's what happened with him. He had Dr. Mark Hyman on and Dr. Thomas Seyfried, both of them doctors who have been in the trenches for a long, long time. They happened to pick out those two. And then, of course, they had an expert doctor come on who works for the American Cancer Society or the BBC version of that. And she was like, oh my God, people are always looking for this and alternatives and this is fear mongering and which is the headlines, of course, yeah, they try to grab our attention, right? But she said it's dangerous, because people are not doing their chemo. So follow the money. If they're not getting the money for people going into their chemo and radiation typical programs, then there we are. And so I don't know how Stephen's going to react to this. I feel for the dude. I know the industry, and I'm going to tell you the next part of this, why this is important to know. So they came after him and Dr. Thomas Seyfried, who talks about keto diet and how important it is, he stood by his word. He said, I said what I said. He's an older dude and I don't think he gives a shit. He just I said what I said. That's what I'm going to, and I'll stand by it. They tried to get Mark Hyman. Mark Hyman chickened out. He didn't say anything. I'm sure he got scared of being shut down. And I'm like, okay, whatever. But what you have to understand is they will go after anybody that takes away the power of the money. And so how does that relate to women in healthy aging? Here's the thing. The theme for here it is. The theme for 2025 and forward, it's actually been going on for quite some time, but so many celebrities, so many sports people, so many people don't know what they're talking about, but everybody's jumping on the longevity bandwagon and especially supplements. And so they're all getting nervous. Everybody in the medical world is getting nervous because it's like, oh my gosh, these women are trying things on their own to heal themselves so they could live longer. Who do they think they are? And I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. It's like that's the real issue is they feel like they're going to lose money because women especially who if we have issues, we're going to go right away to try to figure it out. And some of us will go the medical route, some of us will go holistic, but we're frustrated because the doctors are not listening to us, especially with our hormonal issues. Oh yeah, it's all in your head. Let me give you some antidepressant. And I'm like, oh my goodness, it's terrible. And what I learned about that is that medical doctors are only given, I don't know, maybe like 10 hours of training on hormonal issues. I'm like, what? Take that in your pipe and smoke it, people. It's crazy. I couldn't believe it. So understand that this is very real and that they will come after anyone and shut that information down that could actually help women. So women tend to go after supplements because it's quick and easy, but it's getting to the point where you need to understand two things. One is the supplement industry has been studied on men, including male mice and rats. Look it up, man. All the hundreds of years that science has been studied, it's been on men and what's happening with their health. And only been, I guess, the last 20 to 30 years, Dr. Stacy Sims just said she had a TEDx talks, women are not small men. Go watch that. And she said, listen, maybe some adequate studies have been done on women, maybe since the 90s. Only since the 90s? Are you serious? Oh my gosh, that's crazy. So it has only been for a short time. So you need to understand that this is pretty new for women. And so women are scrambling. And so that's number one, that they're targeting women and saying, yeah, just go get some supplements. But the supplements, oh my gosh. I was on TikTok and I had done a video there. I'm not posting anything new there anymore. I'm just gonna be on here. But David Beckham, I just watched his documentary, very interesting. David Beckham just popped up in the news one day and he's getting into longevity supplements. I'm like, what the hell does David Beckham know about longevity and anything on any level and supplements? And one bottle was $79. If that doesn't blow your mind, here's part two of the news I just saw yesterday. A new, I don't know, whatever detox supplement came out, and that was $137 for one bottle. Phew. Oh, because that's going to help you with longevity. It's getting crazy, girls, and you need to understand that. It's getting really, really crazy. And I want you to understand that they are coming after us and trying to market to us to buy their stupid supplements. So whenever you buy a supplement, do me a favor and do your true homework and find out, have they done any studies on how effective this supplement is for women? Because I go to conference shows all the time. I go to biohacking, longevity conferences, I go online, and that's the first question I ask them: have you done studies on women? And 90% of the time they say no. Okay, thank you, bye. I just don't go there. You only need really 5 supplements anyway. So those supplements are, and I don't do brands. They don't pay me. So I'm not going to promote any particular brands, and the brands are so messed up right now anyway. But something for immunity, something for your minerals, something for your probiotic, your healthy bacteria in your gut, digestive enzymes, some kind. Sometimes some people need help digesting their fats, sometimes their carbs, sometimes their protein. So something for that. And then, of course, your protein supplement. We just don't get enough from the food. I know I can't eat that much protein. I can't sit down and eat a whole, I can't barely finish a whole hamburger. Never mind Never mind a whole steak. So pay attention to that and understand that the healthy aging world and longevity for women is really shifting to come and market to us and say a lot of nonsense that I want you to be aware of, that is not for us. And you need to be aware that they want our money and they're laughing all the way to the bank. I mean, why does David Beckham, who his net worth right now is 450 million? I looked it up. I was like curious after I watched the documentary and seeing he was in the supplement pills stuff. I was like, how much does this guy have? He's 450 million. That's him. And we don't even know. I didn't even look up Victoria. I said, oh my gosh, that was enough for me. I'm like, okay, okay. So he's got 450 million and he doesn't know where to put his money. So he's probably bored and he went into longevity. It's crazy. So be aware that they're coming out. So what can you do instead, right? That's what we're going to be talking about in the next few weeks. I'll see if I could get you guys on here. I have to find the right time that you're on here, but that's okay. I'm practicing because I'm going to be on stage. If any of you are in Miami, Florida, at the last weekend of February, this is a big plug for my buddy Sandy Martin. She's running the BE Expo. It's a biohacking expo in Miami, Florida, the last week in February, and I'll be talking about women's longevity. I'll be on stage, so pretty exciting. And these are the kind of things I'll be talking about. But the longevity industry, this is also in the news. Number two news. Well, we've already done three. We did Stephen Bartlett and how they're coming after him, and then David Beckham and his longevity pills, and now understanding that the longevity business has been at $63 billion, and now they're projecting. I looked it up. The projection as of 2028, which is just really just down the road here, 183 billion dollar industry. $183 billion industry. Isn't that wild? Let's drink to that. Who's going to be making the money on that, right? That's just insane. That is totally insane. So here's the thing. You don't have to get crazy with being healthy as women as you. I know I certainly don't. I just do things that I could do when I'm at home or when I'm traveling. I don't even belong to a gym. I don't want to support it anymore because I want it to be easy. So, for example, I have 5 pillars that I teach in my healthy aging program, and the first one, of course, is food. When do you eat? How do you eat? What is the best time to eat? What do you put on your plate? Like, it doesn't matter if it's keto, vegan, carnivore. It really doesn't, because everybody's different. It does matter how you digest it, when you eat, all these kind of things. Anyway, so that's number one. That's the first healthy aging pillar. You just got to get your window down, figure out what to eat. And then number two is the movement. So the big thing, of course, is strength training, getting your muscles and your legs super strong. So it's putting more oxygen into your brain so you could avoid dementia and brain fog and all that kind of fun stuff. And I used to go to the gym when I was healing from my knee injury, and I'm like, nope, I'm done. I did not like the environment. Nobody talks to you. Everybody's in their own zone with the ear pods. I'm like, oh please, I did my thing. It was like a job. I hated it. So I decided I'm going to use my environment wherever I am to create my exercise program. And I'm doing now something called exercise snacks. That's a lot of fun, where I'll just, I take a break every 30 minutes to 45 minutes, and I'll do 10 squats, or I'll do arm stretches, right? And I get my arm bands and I do that, and I lift my water jugs. Like, I'll do and that I just found out Dr. Rhonda Patrick, another brilliant expert for women on aging and health and that. And she said, if you do every 45 minutes, some kind of little, I call them exercise snacks, but you could do just some kind of snack of movement, stretching, squats, that kind of stuff. She says that takes your glucose levels down right away. I'm like, oh, well, that makes sense. Rather than reaching for something to eat, we should, as women, as we're aging, in my opinion, I've not seen that snacking all day works. When you're younger, 20s and 30s, and you're running after kids and running after doing this and working and doing all these different things, that's one thing. Our energy is totally different. Our life, our season in life is totally different. But when you're at our age, 50s, 60s, 70s, listen, we're not moving quite so much, right? And so it's super important to take your time to see, okay, what do I need to build up my strength on the regular? And then the second part of that is interval training. So movement throughout the day, right? So I don't do every 45 minutes. I could just tell you right now, I'm up to 3 times in the morning and 3 times in the afternoon. We're good. I'm fine. No brain fog here. No hormonal issues here, and I'm 67. So that's number 2. Number 3 is sleep. Getting good quality sleep is my third pillar for healthy aging for women over 50. Number 4 is making sure the stress levels are low. And then 5 is brain and heart boosters, right? So brain and heart. Community is a big issue, but that's what I'm creating here. So I'm not even going to put it as a pillar. It's those are the pillars that I'm focused on. So brain and heart, why they're everything is connected, right? And so I pop those together, making sure that we've covered that. So every time we do a chat like this, I'll get on and I'll talk about it. You see, I have no problem talking to an empty crowd. That's fine. It'll come. That I know. So here's what I learned this week, and I'll wrap up. Every time I do these chats, I'm going to share what I've learned for myself as a 67-year-old naturopath doing this for 30 years. And then you guys share, what did you learn this week for yourself, and share it, because that community and sharing is what we're all about. We're really craving that. And it's so and social media, you don't even know what people are saying anymore. It's pretty crazy. And I belong to a few groups, and yeah, it's all over the place. So by being in community here, we could chit chat and share what's actually working on the regular. And so what I learned this week is I was getting tired again. I don't know what was happening. And I was eating a little bit more, and I was having bigger meals. And typically I have a I just have proteins, fats, and carbohydrate at every meal. And I noticed I was getting sluggish and tired again. I'm like, what the heck is happening? And so I decided, I said, let me tighten up my window. So I typically wake up at 5 in the morning, and I have my coffee by 6. And then usually about that 6:37 is when I have breakfast, right? Then I wait 4 hours. That was a that I just did this actually the last 2 weeks, and I just did that, and I was very surprised how hard it was. It was like, "Oh, I guess I've been snacking a little bit too much," sometimes you just grab a little rice cracker and slap some hummus on it, or sometimes you grab a few handfuls of nuts, and I was doing that, and so I stopped, and I just, "Okay, I'm gonna wait 4 hours." And back in the day, I used to have hypoglycemia, low blood sugar. And that was the one thing I did to heal that. And lo and behold, it worked when I was in my 30s. Why wouldn't it work in my 60s? So waited for 4 hours and had a light, again, it would be like a rice cracker with hummus. It would be a smoothie, maybe an avocado pudding, um, different, maybe a little yogurt with some fruit in it, something. So 7, so 8, 9, 10. So like about 10, 11 o'clock would be when I had it. And then wait another 4 hours to have my main meal of the day. Now, if you follow any longevity experts like Brian Johnson, David Sinclair, Peter Attila, many of them out there. But David Sinclair really impressed me that he's down to one big meal a day. I don't know how he does it. He looks great though. And I'm like, okay, I don't think I could do one meal a day. I like food too much. But he is down to one really solid meal. Now he takes a lot of supplements, and I don't, like I say, I don't believe in taking that many supplements. I don't think for women, especially, I think it could be harmful for our liver specifically. So I ended up um, doing then so 10, 11, and then 12, 1, 2, 3. So 2 to 3, then I'll have my main meal, proteins, fats, and carbohydrates. So maybe an avocado, maybe some olives, maybe some steamed veggies like broccoli, cabbage. I love coleslaw. I'm Hungarian, so I love coleslaw. Some kind of vegetable, and then my meat, right? So it'd be chicken, turkey, beef, lamb, something like that. And or it could be beans, like beans and cauliflower, stir fry cauliflower, or jackfruit. Oh my gosh, I'm back into jackfruit. I'll take a little corn tortilla, slap a little jackfruit on there, throw some salsa on there, maybe tofu. Like, we could share all kinds of fun things like that once we get going. And it was so different. My energy went up. I slept solid, slept way better actually. I was like, whoa, back to 7 and 8 hours of sleeping. I'm down. I like it. And I just feel better. Does a little weight come off too? Yeah, actually, just a little bit, a couple pounds, not much. But the main purpose is when you are feeling wonky or like sluggish or inflamed, you got to look at your lifestyle and see what's happening. And that's what I did for myself. So I said, wait a minute, I'm grazing too much throughout the day. I'm past that season. I don't think I'm digesting it. So let me just do my window between 7 and 2 or 3. That's my window. And then I don't eat anything in the evening. So I was cheating a little bit in the evening and having a little bit of, I don't know, again, a handful of nuts, a protein bar, just nothing bad, but again, eating later in the evening, like at 5, 6 o'clock. And that doesn't work for me. It might work for you. And that's the message that I want to leave you guys with. What works for you, right? We're all different. Our lifestyle, our health. Right now, maybe you have chronic pain and inflammation in your bones and joints. Maybe you have arthritis. Maybe you have brain fog issues going on with hormones. Whatever it is, you got to look at what you need right now. So for me, that's what I did. I was like reassessed. I'm like, okay, I'm feeling a little sluggish. I'm like not my usual self. Let me look at what I'm doing that I need to tighten up a little bit. It's not hard, didn't cost any money. It was like a little bit of a discomfort of waiting for 4 hours between my meals. Okay, that's all right. But that's what my encouragement to you. It doesn't need to be like Brian Johnson and David Sinclair and they spend they spend millions, but they spend thousands each month on their health. And I'm saying, look, peace out, girls. We don't need to spend that much. We just need to look at our lifestyle, implement these things that are super easy. I'll be sharing this on the regular and seeing what it is we need. And that's it. That's all we need. Just simple little things throughout the day, right? So let's chat some more. I think I could save this and then we'll end up, you could comment below and leave me your comments. I do answer all of your comments. I do have the conference coming up in Miami if you want more information on that. Plus, I've got my healthy aging checklist. If you want to see, oh, check, check, check. Let me see. Let me see what I need to do to make sure I'm not aging too fast. I have that available. I have all the links below. It'll be fun to take a look and let me know what you think and how I could best help you as we're navigating this road of healthy aging. So appreciate you guys. Hopefully you bring your coffee next time or your tea, and we'll catch you on the next chat. All right. Have a good one.